Welcome everybody to our life energy prayer here from the sunny Florida outdoors. My name is Jona Bryndis and I am your guide to writing your own prayer, understanding the connection between you and your higher power as you understand it, with a following talk, energy talk as I call it, about these aspects. Yes, let us know where you are watching from. I see Colorado. Wonderful. Hello, Colorado. Yes, it's a pleasure and honor to be live with you here on YouTube on Wednesdays and Fridays. Ohio. Wonderful. Yes, we had time change, so some of you may find this a little difficult to adjust. This is always the couple of weeks here, twice a year, where we get out of sync. Today I will want, for our contemplation before we do the energy prayer, I want to just cue you with a few things. It has come to my attention as energy therapist and as energy healer that most people have difficulties really determining the priority of needs, wants, and those goals that they have in life. And when it comes to our focus in life and wanting to address things, wanting to change things in life, that is one of the most important things for us to know what we need to focus on. So the majority of people come into like an energetic crisis or emotional crisis or physical crisis because they're not actually setting the focus on the right thing. And it is not really something like a fault or anything. It's basically a lack of training from my perspective. And so I want to take this opportunity with you to talk about this after our prayer, but also to cue you with, sort of addressing that, the ability to discern, the ability to know your needs, your wants, and your goals or ideals. Yes, I see Denmark, I see Seattle, I see Indiana. Wonderful, guys. Thank you for arriving. So, as we are writing our prayer request together here in these live energy prayers, we use the framework of a grace prayer that is a non-denominational sort of prayer asking for that which needs to be healed, to be revealed, asking for higher power basically to allow us to be an active participant in our lives. And I want you to contemplate for a moment here before we write our prayer. So I'm going to show you on the screen this framework of prayer, and then we will add our today's prayer request into the equation here. Let me prepare this for you on your screen. Yeah. So when determining what we need support with, it is very important that we have a focus, that we know, for example, what needs to be addressed right now. What do I need right now? Because there's a sort of a domino about certain things. Let's take a very simple example. If I am extremely tired or extremely hungry, how likely am I going to be able to work on my higher expression, to work on my bigger or greater goals in life? Not very likely, because there are some fundamental needs that are not met. And when some of my fundamental needs aren't met, it creates a lot of stress in me. And that stress can then lead to even less focus, and confusion about what needs to be addressed first. Do you guys know what I mean? Have you ever had that situation where you were running around like a fire porter router and just basically trying to hold everything together, really missing the most important part. For example, self-care, taking good care of yourself, or having enough sleep, having enough water, having good food, having enough love in your life. You know what I'm talking about, right? I see your chat here. So, in essence, a lot of times in our lives, it's not really about not being good enough or not being able to do the things we need to do. It is actually in our perception. There's something that filters our perception. We focus on the wrong thing, and that inevitably leaves us in a place where we constantly feel we are not getting anywhere, or we are exhausting ourselves just in trying to hold things together. It is so difficult as an energy coach to convince people that taking, for example, this 15-20 minute break every day, to contemplate, to ground, to center, to breathe, and to pray or meditate, as one of the most fundamental needs for ourselves, so that, now listen carefully, so that we can be more effective in what it is that we want to bring into expression, or want to manifest, or want to do. We all have these mindsets that say something like, when things get hard, we have to go harder. We have to try more. And this is something, if you think about it, can be a fundamental sort of distortion of our perception, because a lot of times what happens is that we're doing something and somehow it isn't working out, and it gets harder and harder and harder, and then this mindset says, oh, you just have to go even harder, in order to get this done. Basically just repeating the same things over and over again, expecting different results. And this is where, prayer comes in, because prayer can function as something like a reset for us, as something that allows us to go deeper within and actually take a moment to feel how we're truly feeling, what we truly need at this moment. In energy coaching, I often teach people how to even identify what these unmet needs are, and the dynamics of that, and what we truly want, what's truly essential for us, what really matters to us in this moment. And yes, there are obviously values, spiritual, emotional, social values that come into play here as well. Because if I want to be a kind person, if I want to be a loving person, if that is my higher expression, if that is, what I align myself to, and I run around like a fire putter outer all day long, where I have no time to connect with my loved ones, my friends, or, people that with whom I can exchange kindness and love, then you see what the problem is. I will always kind of feel inadequate, or I will always feel that there are things that are unmet. And so I'm seeing that we have a little bit of a connection issue here right now. Let me just double check on that, on our internet connection. Not sure what is going on. Can you guys still hear me and see me? Can I get a little feedback here, because it looks like I've lost my internet connection? Okay, I think it's back. Thanks for the feedback. So if we are so busy, so preoccupied, so focused on things that ultimately don't get us anywhere, then it's not a problem of performance. It's not that we are not good enough, or that we are not effective enough. It is that we are perhaps focusing on the wrong thing. And this is, again, where prayer can come in, because it can help us to realign to ourselves, to our higher goals, and to ourselves, so that we can bring that which we want to bring into expression, into the world, into our own life. Yeah, we call this manifestation. So the reason why people have issues with manifestation is not that they're not good enough, is that they're not aware of what they're actually energizing, what they're actually putting all their focus on. And so let's do this here together, guys. What do you want to focus on in this prayer here today? What do you want to inject as something that you recognize in this very moment here right now, that you should, or not should, but that you want to focus on? Obviously, we all have goals and wants. But my tip for you here right now is that you focus on your needs, on the essential, on what it is that you really, really need in your life, so that you can feel good about yourself, so that you can feel good about your expressions. What is essential for you? What do you long for the most? Or what is unmet? What is it that you are feeling that you are not able to connect with? This is the part where I need your feedback, where you need your input, because I'm going to inject your needs, your focus, your request here into the prayer. Annette wants to pray for being more open for connection. It's wonderful, Annette, because what you're expressing with that request is that connection. You probably mean connection with others, I take it, or connection with higher power, or both. Let's be precise. Let's really pay attention to the words that we are using when we connect with higher power as we understand it. And make sure that what it is that you are requesting is representing what's essential to you, what matters to you. Cheryl would like to request. Okay, Cheryl, you are requesting a goal. That is a goal. Yeah? That is something that you've identified as a goal. You say it's a need, but it's actually a goal. You want a loving, intimate relationship with a partner to share the life with. Try to make this, to formulate this in a different way. More in the way how Annette formulated it, namely as an internal process. When you say, oh, I want a partner, that's sort of externalized, because that's not something you can control. There's nothing you can do. I mean, there's a lot we can do to attract people into our lives, but this is external. This is like you're asking for a lottery win. Try to formulate it in a way that you are actually referring to something that you are doing or that you want to bring into expression. Cindy wants to request to be able to slow down more and to appreciate the small things as well as the big things. So appreciation, yes, that's good. To ask for the clarity, or to ask for the ability to slow down, yeah, because when we're used to being fire putter outers, it can be quite challenging to make ourselves slow down. Yes, Annette, thank you. More precision. You would like to be more open for connection with others, and within yourself also the connection with higher power. Becky wants to request letting go of negative beliefs about myself and the world. Yes, that's a good one, because that's something that you can actively do, right? Once you really hone yourself into it, once you really focus on it. Yes, you are understanding this, Cheryl. Yes, so let me start putting this or typing this in here, and please continue. I pray for the openness to connect more, and no, I pray for, let me rephrase that. I pray for the willingness to slow down more, so that I can connect more so that I can connect more and become able to let go of negative beliefs about myself and the world. And that said, I would like to add here to the deeper understanding that we're not talking about making all negative things in the world go away. We're talking about the negative beliefs, okay, the mindsets around that. There is a huge difference, because there are things that are not optimal. There are things that are negative, So to pretend there is no negative things in the world, or things that we hold in mind, that would not work with our higher power, because our higher power knows that it's there, okay? But to be willing, to slow down and to become more aware of it is a whole different story. The willingness to slow down more, the willingness to slow down, so that I can connect more and become able to let go of negative beliefs about myself and the world. We could also add the gratitude. I think I have a little space here so that I could connect more. Feel gratitude. And become able to let go. Okay. The willingness to slow down so that I can connect more, feel gratitude, and become able to let go of negative beliefs about myself and the world. How do you feel about this so far, guys? Yes. The courage to connect. Okay. The courage follows the willingness, guys. The willingness is the first and most essential intention. The first and most important pillar of intentiveness, if you understand. You have to be willing to do that. If you say, oh, I know what to do, but I don't have time to do this. What are you actually saying? You're saying you know what is right, you know what is good for you, but you're not willing to do it. That's exactly what you're saying. And so we have to understand that the willingness comes before the courage. The courage is then to say, well, I actually don't have time, or the reason why I don't feel I have no time is because I'm afraid to lose something else. And it requires me to be courageous to do it anyway, because it comes from within my inner power. It tells me that this is what I need to focus on. So willingness then comes courage, and then comes the clarity. The clarity that without doing it, what is good for you, you can't really expect to get better results. Yeah? So all of you who have specific goals or ideals in life, such as a loving relationship, such as a more rich or more fulfilling social life with others, such as more health, such as more abundance in life, such as I don't know what it is that many of you want to manifest, something that is an ideal, okay? But are you willing to do the steps it takes? And right there is where we need to be fully honest with ourselves, and this is where prayer comes in. Because a prayer can help us to see that. A prayer can help us, especially a prayer like this, where we're actually asking for these things to be revealed. We're asking for that clarity so that we know what to focus on. So let's do this together here. Let's practice this as we have in the 53 previous energy prayers. Yeah? How to slow down, how to focus our energy on what is truly essential for us and what we can change, yeah, and the willingness to do this. I'm going to turn on the music now, and if this is your first time, don't be surprised if we do a little energy focusing and centering exercise here before we go into the prayer. So let me guide you through this process. Yeah, make sure that you sit comfortably. No need to do mudras or a certain position, just make sure that you feel comfortable. Now focus on your feet. Feel your feet touching the ground. Feel yourself being here. Report to yourself, you are here, I am here. I have the right to be here. Take a deep breath. Extend your belly as you breathe, very, very important. Hold your breath. Make the unconscious conscious. And consciously breathe out. Let's do this again. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. And for those of you who are a little more advanced in energy work, picture your breath sort of being the inflow of energy, increasing your capacity to hold light, to hold love, to hold truth, to hold focus, to hold your own present moment awareness. Hold it, expand it. And as you breathe out, consciously let go of all the things that are holding you back from increasing your radiance. Again, breathe in. Hold, breathe out. And as we are focusing our attention this way, I now want you to take both palms of your hands, see them as the extensions of the good and bad, the left and right, the soul and the body, the masculine, the feminine, the pros and the cons, if you will. And consciously join them and rub the palms of your hands against another and create more energy, create warmth through your intention. Yeah, this is higher vibratory energy that you've created here, and use this consciously to clear yourself, to cleanse yourself of excess worrying, of whatever's distracting you right now. Your hands are still warm. And now you can fold them in prayer, whichever way you like, with the awareness that you are more connected now, in this very moment already. You're aligned and focused on bringing your words alive through communicating, through addressing higher power as you understand it. Grace. For thee I thirst. Into your hands I commit my life, my body, mind and spirit, heart and soul, and all error perceptions thereof. Your will is my will. That will be done through me. Today, I pray for the willingness to slow down so that I can connect more, feel gratitude, and become able to let go of negative beliefs about myself and the world that are holding me back. Yes, heal me at depth. Reveal all that needs to be revealed and heal all that needs to be healed. So I can glorify you, God, I am, and live in the consciousness of grace now and at all times. Thank you. Take just a few moments more to enjoy this connection with higher power. To appreciate this moment. Can you feel how this alone is empowering you? Can you feel the difference already? That just you focusing on letting go of all the overlay, as I always call this, like all the stuff that really isn't important. But to just focus on what is really important to you. How that can already change the way you feel about yourself and the world. Yes, really strong connection today. Thank you, everybody, for joining the energy prayer. We will now move on to the energy talk. And today I want to challenge you guys with something that I have already prepared you here with the remarks that I posted in this live stream. Yeah, to make a list of these different needs and wants and goals or ideals. Yeah, welcome to the energy talk here right after our energy prayer. We're all still in this beautiful energy of focusing on what truly matters to us. And I want to take this as the opportunity here to talk to you about what truly matters to us and the ability to discern true needs, true wants, and true ideals, true goals in life. My name is Jona Bryndis. I am an energy therapist, energy coach, and healer from Florida, airing live here from my healing tent. And I welcome all of you for this talk about the deeper energetic aspects of what moves us, what concerns us, what keeps us in this distortion of perception sometimes, yeah, what makes it so hard for us to focus on the essential, what truly matters to us, yeah, and what distracts us from living our life the way we choose to live it. So welcome again, everybody. Please understand that this is an exchange with you, so I didn't come here to lecture. Yeah, I have workshops and webinars regularly for the Sacred Self-Healing community. Here at transCODES tomorrow, for example, we have a workshop called Energetic Wellness, where we talk about the factors that influence our inner stress levels and our energy that we have available to manifest. Yeah, those are different kinds of publications. This is a live talk with you. What are these things that you have identified in your personal life that distract you, that distort your perception, that make it hard for you sometimes to identify what you truly need? Or what are those needs that you know you have, but you don't have enough courage, say, or you don't know how to, you don't have enough clarity to know what to do or how to approach it? How do you know, yeah, what your needs, your wants, or your goals are, and how to address them? These are the three big questions that I have for you. Who of you has made a list of these three categories of inner desires, of inner drives, if you will, of inner motivation? What I need, what I want, and what my goals are, or what my ideal is. Who of you has actually done this list? Just give me a thumbs up or some kind of feedback. And if you haven't done this, and do it now as we speak. It doesn't take long to do this. Okay, Cheryl is commenting here that she feels very distracted by outside influences like mainstream media, for example. Yes, Cheryl, and rightly so, because we are bombarded right now. And it is since the widespread usage of our phones that we are bombarded with mainstream media and, you know, texts from other people or comments or whatever, notifications of any sort, 24 hours. 24 hours, we feel the intrusive energy of things coming at us. So what happened to just sitting on your back porch or your front porch at the end of the day and slurping on your lemonade or whatever, your glass of water, and watching the sunset? Yeah, we don't do these things anymore. Yeah. So, Cheryl, this is a very important distraction that you're mentioning here, because this is also a distraction that doesn't just Sorry for my dog barking. It's a distraction also. Come here. Yeah. Do you want to say hi to people? No. Okay. Yeah. Mainstream media is a distraction that doesn't just distract us, it also programs us. It also implants certain opinions and perspectives. So there's multiple issues with mainstream media, and especially the ways how it can distract us. Brian is mentioning or commenting here that when I'm not grounded, I start second guessing things. Yes, I love that, Brian. Isn't that so true? Second guessing things, right? Whether it's our needs, our wants, our views, our goals, right? Is this even a good need? Is this even an appropriate need? Yes, Cheryl says she's updating that list regularly. Okay, so let me start doing this then. And you can do this here as you go. Yeah. What have you identified as your fundamental needs? And for those of you who are familiar with actually focusing on this and discerning this, that you will find that there's obviously different kinds of needs. So we have fundamental needs. Psychology puts them in hierarchical order. For example, we all have the need for shelter, food, and security. So that is common for all of us humans. Yeah, and obviously something that is programmed into us as an instinctual need. That's our survival instinct. Okay, so beyond your normal survival instinct, what are your needs? What have you identified as needs in your life? What you need in order to, say, stay focused, in order to stay grounded, in order to feel more connected within. Brian has identified a fundamental need for self-love. That's very beautiful, Brian, and actually especially beautiful coming from a male. Not that males have different needs than females, but it is not so common for males to actually verbalize this, to actually say it in that way. Brian, can you help all of us to understand better what this need for self-love, how that expresses in your personal life? How do you know that you are meeting your need for self-love? How is it expressed? For me, for example, it's often expressed in little things, physical things like drinking enough water, sleeping enough. Yeah? Being willing to take the time to have good food at all times. Being willing to spend the extra minutes on self-care, yeah, beyond just taking a shower or brushing my teeth. And that too can be in question some days. Yes, self-support. Okay, Brian, one step further here. How does that express? How do you know if you're self-supportive or not? Yes, for Cheryl, it expresses in allowing herself to have a good rest, to give yourself time to relax, self-care, yeah? Yes, Brian, paying attention to yourself, and that is a mental thing, if you think about it. That's the mental focus that you have. And there is even more there, yeah, when it comes to self-love. It's also expressed in our inner self-talk, right? Since you've identified this as something that sets in when there's not enough self-love, yeah, in the quality of your own self-talk, how you talk with yourself, how you formulate those, or how this attention, how it comes forward, right? Negative inner self-talk is one of the most destructive and unloving things that we can actually engage in, if you think about it. Yeah, if you hear this voice in you that keeps on telling you how bad you are, how you're messing up, how this wasn't good enough, how you should have done this, why didn't you see this earlier, why did you say this, and so forth, does that express self-love? So, obviously it doesn't. Yeah. So how can we then fulfill this need for more self-love in regards to self-talk? Yeah. We can change the way we talk to ourselves so that it becomes more supportive. Yeah. How could this sound like? It could sound like, oop, what I tried here, that didn't really work that well. Uh-oh, the way I looked at this, or the way I basically put this into action, wasn't really that conducive for me. Maybe I want to change this. Yeah, so I'm specifically addressing things that went wrong, or, where you realize, oh, this isn't working for me. Yeah, the way I approached it, or the way I've said it, or the way I've done it, or, sometimes it can even be something that we don't do or didn't do. Yeah, didn't work out well for me. Yes, we can say that in a very self-loving way by just simply stating the truth. Ooh, that didn't really go that well. But that's completely different from an energetic point of view than saying to yourself, oh my God, why did you do this? Oh my God, that was so dumb. Or, oh, you're so bad, like, why did you not decide this? Or why didn't you take care of this earlier? Or why did you say that? One is truth-based and acknowledging, yeah, and actually kind of motivating to take this as a learning experience and to move beyond it and to say, well, maybe I can try this differently next time. Yeah. And the other has elements of shaming, has elements of guilt tripping in it, has elements of self-defeat, sometimes even something like disgust. So this is what an energy talk is. You actually look at the energy behind those words. That's why I always call you guys on precision with your words. Yeah, what does this word, what does this phrase express? Does this phrase express understanding, compassion, empathy, appreciation, truth, and lovingness? Or does this formulation or this phrase express insufficiency, some kind of shame, some kind of guilt, some kind of anger, some kind of, superiority? This is what makes the difference, guys. When it comes to your needs, and you recognize that a need that you have, a fundamental need, the fundamental need for self-love, the fundamental need for more connection, the fundamental need, yeah, to pay more attention and to be more or to feel more support. If that is a need and it's unmet, how can you start approaching that with your inner self-talk, with how you address it? Those of you who texted here what your needs are, can you turn this into a sentence that is expressing more love, more attention, more compassion, more motivation, and more supportiveness, yeah, toward yourself? How can you say that to yourself? Let's say something went wrong. How can you say it? Let's say if you were distracted by mainstream media, how can you talk to yourself? in that it helps you to understand what it is that is going wrong, what it is maybe that you have been focusing on that is going contrary to your need or is not fulfilling your need. So that you feel encouraged to change something. What could this sound like? How can you encourage your own self to become more nurturing? Yes, encouraging, nurturing self-talk. Yes, Becky, but what does that sound like? Write it down. Take one of your needs and write it down. Or say it here. Let's say you realize that there's an unmet need. Let's say I realized that the reason why I'm feeling kind of meh today is because I went to bed too late yesterday. I didn't give myself enough sleep. What could that sound like? Do it for me. Of course, there's a self-talk that I can hear that says, oh my God, that's so stupid that you went to bed so late. Why did you go to bed so late? You shouldn't have done that. Now you have to pay for it. You hear that, right? Yes, I love that, Cheryl. That's a very good representation. Keep going, guys. Stay creative here. We are practicing positive inner self-talk. I love myself enough to take the time to nurture myself now, exactly. I am deserving of rest. I need rest. Yes, whereby I do want to let you know that if the word deserving appears in your self-talk, there is already a question there, and I strongly recommend not to work with the word deserving, because deservingness is externalized. If you prep yourself, if you want to change your inner self-talk by talking about I am deserving this, you will inevitably run into mental combobulations if you do things where your inner truth tells you that that wasn't right, because then you will immediately hear yourself saying that you don't deserve it. I feel safe to be open to new connections. Yes, Annette, very nice. I feel safe. But also acknowledge the challenge here, guys. Be honest with yourself. We're practicing honest, positive self-talk. Shell, I recognize this habit is not in my highest good. I choose to be more conscious of my time and engage in higher vibratory uses of my energy now. I love that. It's a bit uppity, it's a bit theoretical, okay, because words such as higher vibratory uses, your subconscious won't understand that. Yeah, it's a trap, just like deservingness. But the first part of your sentence was very powerful energetically. I recognize that this habit isn't in my highest interest or in my highest good. I recognize that I have a habit that I engage in, but that is not actually good for me, and that is holding me back from feeling my true needs or fulfilling my true needs. So I choose to be more conscientious of that. I choose to pay more attention to how I divide my time or what I pay attention to. When I change the way I look at something, what I look at changes. Yes, Heather. With our perspective change, our perception changes, and with the way we perceive things, the way we feel about things changes. So when it comes to our needs, guys, the needs cannot be discussed. They are not negotiables, okay? If you have needs and you do something that works against your own needs, then you don't need miracles. You don't need God to change that for you. You need to change your perspective on that. You need to be honest with yourself to say, I recognize that what I'm trying here or what I'm focusing on cannot really lead me to fulfillment, yeah, of my needs. So I need to be more conscientious about this. So you can say, I need to be more conscientious about it, or you can say, oh my God, I need to stop, being so stupid, okay? You feel the difference in energy here. Most of you have a hard time with your needs and deservingness for that matter, and focus, and follow through, because your inner talk, your self-talk is negative. You're shaming and guilt tripping yourself for not meeting your needs. And this is exactly here what Heather is saying. You need to change your perspective about that and recognize that the self-talk that you have, or second guessing, as Brian called it earlier, it's a variation of that. When we second guess ourselves, it means that we have some kind of negative inner self-talk, that says, oh, you don't really need this right now. Oh, you can't afford this. Or, oh, maybe it's better to do this another time. Procrastination is a very, very good example for this sort of tricky negative inner self-talk. Because basically what you're saying to yourself when you procrastinate is that need isn't important right now, and that some other need, like say spending hours on social media or engaging in mainstream media and news all the time, that is a bigger need than you need to sleep, or you need to surround yourself with people that you can connect with. So this is one aspect of this, guys. It's very complex. You see, we've only now talked about needs, okay? And the inner self-talk, the way you communicate this to yourself, is essential. In fact, this I would put on all of your guys' needs list, to work on, really actually needing to change your inner self-talk, because it duplicates into all these other layers. It duplicates into your wants, how you can actually express what you want in life, and also your goals and your ideals in life. So if you have, for example, formulations such as deserve, okay, then you're inevitably running your own subconsciousness and your own energy into a trap, because if something does not happen the way you wanted it, you will immediately end up in that negative inner self-talk, that somehow comes like, oh, I didn't deserve this. So the self-talk is important in order to be able to better discern what you need, what you want, and what your ideals are. But there is more to this, guys. Let's look at something that I have prepared here for you. Those in the Sacred Self-Healing community are already familiar with this. It's leaning on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the pyramid of needs, and I use this to teach people energetic wellness. So tomorrow in the Sacred Self-Healing webinar, we're going to learn more about this. Okay, you see here, this is a bit of a pyramid, and it's in rainbow colors and chakra colors, also to show the link of these needs to your energy centers. But that's only for those of you who do energy work. For most of you, it's pretty intuitive to understand this, so don't get too distracted here with some of the formulations. Just look at the bottom and then work your way up. The most fundamental need, the biological and physiological need, the survival need, that is inherent in all of us. So is the need for some level of control and safety in life. So the blue, the black and the red needs here at the bottom of the hierarchy of needs, it's inherent in all of us. The orange part here, the belongingness and love, love as sort of the basic connection with other people, such as family, such as expression of affection, just having something like friends, people to socialize with, people to talk to, people to connect with, and of course also some of the physical affection and the physical needs that come with this, for example, for touch and sex and sensuality. That's here in the orange category. The next one is the need for esteem, for having a certain status, for getting a certain level of approval and validation from other people, and this can express differently for us. Some of us have great sort of vocations. Yeah, we have a wonderful skill, wonderful trade that we are mastering throughout our life, and through which we can gain that. Some of us excel in education. We strive for degrees and so forth. Some of us strive for a certain amount of money, for a certain amount of sort of financial wealth in our life, yeah, or a size of company or something like that. Even size of families, number of kids, and things like this can fulfill this need. And then we have the green need, and that is here the need for connection and relation, which is a deeper level of connection, yeah, that now also directs attention towards our inner connection, yeah, and brings self-awareness, meaning, yeah, and a certain level of intimacy with myself. This is the level on which we are addressing things here. Yeah, this is the minimum level on which these energy priorities, energy talks, and also the energy tips that I give, on which they operate. I am not operating on, the most fundamental levels of needs here with you, simply because they're inherent in all of us, and that's part of our 3D balance. Okay, so it's obviously that we have issues with these things, and a lot of times, yeah, if our ideal is here in these what Cheryl called higher vibratory goals. Okay, yeah, the ideal of being free, of being growth oriented, of feeling purpose in life and feeling fulfillment in life. Yeah, being of service to others, yeah, and basically sort of implementing and embodying a certain level of selflessness in the world. Okay, you have to understand that you don't really need to worry about these things if these fundamental needs here, everything black, red, orange, and yellow, yeah, if that's not there, yeah, if that is not part of your daily focus, okay, then you don't really need to worry about the other things, because you won't be able to connect. So many of you complain about not feeling enough connection or not finding the right people to connect. And what you fail to see, and that's why the perspective change is so important, is that you have to have these other things kind of balanced out in your life. It's not that we are always optimal. Don't always have exactly sort of the amount of abundance, money, or validation in life that we want. But, the sort of the fundamentals of that, if there is people in our life that we can call if we're feeling down, if there is people in our life that give us praise, that are supportive, that say, hey, I think it's really cool what you're doing, yeah? If we have something that we can call our home, if we have a safe space. These are the fundamental needs that we all need. And if we don't have them, guys, we don't really need to sort of beat ourselves up for not being able to reach our higher wants and goals in life. These are just ideals, yeah? So we need to learn how to discern what we need first, and then what we want. And then we can think about how we want it, yeah? How we want it is the ideal. And most of us make a mistake here. We address our life based on our ideals. And then we measure what we have to the ideals and beat ourselves up through this negative inner self-talk. Yeah, because we can't get there. And worse, we make others responsible for it. We blame, we externalize our needs, wants, and ideals, yeah, and basically say, well, until I meet this person, or until I have enough money, or until the government changes, or until the planetary problems are resolved, I can't bring myself to a higher expression. Yeah. And that is negative self-talk, because you're basically saying to yourself that you're incapable of doing it. And that's why it's really important that we do this kind of work systematically. You have to write these things down for yourself. And yes, like Cheryl, constantly working on updating it. Yeah. And doing something like a self-report. Okay, how well am I meeting my own most fundamental needs today? Yeah. And is there anything I can do right now exactly, yeah, to change that? Instead of beating myself up for not being able to reach my ideals, all I need to ask myself, what is it that I can do for myself right now to meet my own needs? And if all your needs are met, you can ask yourself, what is it that I can do right now to work toward my wants, yeah, toward my desires. Yeah, I would like to have a new car, or I would like to go on vacation, or I would like to have a new puppy. I would like to, spend my life with a partner. What can I do right now, yeah, to focus my energies, my ability to focus on that, yeah. Sometimes I have to make adjustments here in order to move toward this. The spin that I'm bringing into these things, those are regular, quite common coaching subjects here, is the energetic components of that. And for many of you, it is not fully clear how your inner self-talk and the wording, yeah, and the energy that you're expressing with the wording, how that is programming you. One very good example is fear. If you are talking to yourself in a way that expresses fear with everything, yeah, obviously there are some outer aspects of that, some other aspects that can influence that, then it will be very, very difficult for you to feel the courage or the empowerment to do something. So you will have a higher likelihood, or you're more likely to blame it on others, yeah, if you cannot accomplish something, yeah, simply because you get stuck in this most fundamental need to feel supported. And it starts with the talk that you do with yourself. So if you have an issue with courage, for example, and feeling unsupported, your job, and this is, I want to call this a most fundamental need, is to change the way you talk to yourself. You have to change the way you talk to yourself. Period. Okay? If you keep on telling you that you are dumb, that you are not good enough, that that other people should change, that it's somebody else's fault, you will not be able to change it. This isn't anything that could come to you from the external. Nobody can give you that courage, okay, if you're basically self-sabotaging yourself from within through your inner self-talk. Now, that's number one rule. You have to reflect on that and understand that when it comes to the realization or the meeting of your needs, that it starts with your self-talk. And the second level, the more the want level, has to do with how you express it to the outside world, how you become able to negotiate this with others, how you are able to say what you need and want. Yeah. But again here, if your inner self-talk is negative, your outer talk will as well be. Okay, it will reflect that. And the same then replicates into your higher goals and your ideals. It will replicate in the way you see the world, you see yourself in the world, you see higher power, you see your own power, yeah, your life view, your overall life view. So understand, guys, that this is like a pyramid. It is something that needs a foundation, that needs to build. And just like how we would recognize this with any mastery in our life, yeah, we have to pay attention to that. We have to train ourselves to do this. Yeah, so self-mastery, I think, is 10,000 hours on whatever it is that you want to master, whether it be a language or an instrument or a certain trade. 10,000 hours. Okay, focused training of that skill. Yeah. So if you are injecting yourself, and I don't want to discuss right now why that is the case. This is subject to the Sacred Self-Healing community. This is why I have these courses and these communities, to be able to go even deeper than that. So why that is that we have so much negative inner self-talk, we'll discuss in the workshop here tomorrow. But you have to understand that right there, yeah, your ability to meet your needs, to express your needs so that other people can, even put this into account, yeah, and develop relationships where your needs and wants are heard, okay, all depends on your inner self-talk, on how you communicate this with yourself. And Heather is injecting also the perspective that you have. So the perspectives is also something that is a deeper aspect here that has to do with what programs us, what are these factors that influence us, what are the things that actually come in from the outside that influence our inner self-talk and our inner perspective. Yeah. But when it comes to your needs, your wants, and your ideals, you got to understand that it starts right there with how you communicate with yourself. It replicates into the communication to the outside world and also to higher power, to the universe. And starting to write down what your needs, your wants, and your goals are is the first level of that. You are starting to communicate with yourself. Who of you has done this list now, maybe, or maybe following the cue that I gave in the energy tips last week, and had new insights? Okay, wonderful. I love this. So Cindy, you're sharing with us here your needs, your wants, and your goals. Number 1, need space. Number 2, you want connection with self and others. Number 3, love in all forms. I love it. You get an A+, Cindy. This is concise, this is precise, and you know exactly why you have identified this, because those are the things that you are not giving yourself. Okay? And that's wonderful. It's wonderful that you can see this now. Yeah? The next level is to change your inner communication. Instead of beating yourself up over not having enough space, not having clear boundaries, yeah, not connecting more, yeah, and not being loving at all times, yeah. Say to yourself, okay, how can I create more space right now? How can I create more boundaries right now? How can I connect better? How can I, inject more love and lovingness into, what I'm expressing here? Wonderful, Cindy, yes. Brian is sharing, I've noticed the perspective I have of myself relates to how I look at everything outside of myself. Yes, exactly. That is absolutely true, Brian. The perspective you have about yourself relates to the perspective of the outside. And that is because the perspective determines the perception. If your perception is that all people are dark and that the world is going dark and that everything is bad, okay, that you see on the outside, you will not be able to withstand a self-talk that sounds like you are bad, you're dark, you're doomed, you're going to die. Okay, and I can tell you why. Because your subconscious cannot differentiate with what you think or say about the outside and what it is that you say about yourself. So think of it as this, you pointing the fingers to the outside, okay, and all other fingers are pointing back at you. And that is how your subconscious programs itself. In other words, the more you bicker about the outside world, okay, the more you're programming yourself to bicker about yourself. Yeah, this isn't something new, okay? It is something that we just need to remember, okay, that the negative inner self-talk, Yeah, that it goes both ways. It creates a negative outlook on your life, on the world, and the negative outlook on the world or on life or on others or about others creates a negative inner self-talk. It's both ways. Yes, Cindy, I know it's not easy until you sift through it, but it is that simple. Yeah, it is that simple. First, determine your needs, your wants, and your higher goals. Yeah. This is basically, if you will, sort of your needs are the black, red, and orange, yellow here. Yeah. Your wants are the yellow, orange, turquoise, and your ideals, your goals, are the blues and the purples. But remember that without your needs being met, it will be impossible for you to reach your wants and especially your ideals. That is basically the density of your 3D existence. You'll always be pulled back into your needs. That's why we cannot ignore them, and the self-talk aspect of that is basically how we are programming ourselves, how we are reinforcing this within ourselves. Yeah. So changing your perspective changes your perception, and every time you change your perception, this is basically the big theme here of November. So if you've listened to the energy forecast, if you're a Sacred Self-Healing member, we've had a discussion to the forecast that was all about that. It was all about changing your perspective, and as you change your perspective, and that is partially expressed in your self-talk, you are changing your perception. Okay. So with this, I would like to close the energy talk today. Thank you for your wonderful participation and actually working with these things here online. This is wonderful. There is the energy alignment for November that addresses that as a 20-minute mini meditation and energy process with words that I've recorded for you. If you would like to get that, please subscribe to my email list. Yeah, everyone here in my email list has access to these monthly energy alignments. And if you would like to stay tuned and updated, then yeah, please share the link here for my YouTube channel. Subscribe to it so you get the notifications when I'm live. And if you would like to contribute, if you would like to give back, yeah, and have sort of an energy exchange with me here for this free service, then buy me a coffee. It's a beautiful little app where you can buy me a coffee. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm an avid coffee drinker. Yeah, so yes, keep the energy flowing, and always remember that everything is energy, and everything goes two ways. Okay, so what we put out is ultimately, yeah, how we see the world and how we then become able to put it out for ourselves. Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being here. I love this community. And I want to remind everybody that we have a group of volunteers here trained by me that do daily sacred selves. Those are online meditations on Skype, yeah, as a random group every day. Okay, so part of this community here that has formed is also free and accessible for everybody. Yeah, again, if you are a subscriber, then you will have access to all these links on Skype. Yeah, thank you so much. See you on Friday for the energy prayer and the energy tips for week 47. Bye-bye.